What is going on, everybody? We are at it again. We are at it again. Day two, day two, day two, day two, day two, day two. I really need to fix this green screen stuff. Anyway, day two, Clocking Out Podcast. Thank you for everyone who's been showing up a love and support, who's been tuning in, who's been checking in, who's been sharing, liking, following, subscribing, purchasing. Thank you so much. Thank you to everyone. Matter of fact, you know what? We're going to put it in the chat. There you go. For anyone and everyone who is interested, clockingout.net is where you go to get your merch. And we mentioned this in yesterday's episode. POAPs will be active this month. I repeat, POAPs will be active this month. Am I facing this the right way? Yeah, I'm facing it. Should I just take it off? No. So I'm up. See, from messing around with the cables too much, I'm messing things up. Anyway, I hope everyone's doing well. I hope you guys are having a great July so far. I'm looking forward to the 4th of July. I really don't know what I'm going to be doing, honestly. I just know I'm going to be spending it with family. I like any excuse to be spending it with family when family gets together, family and friends and loved ones and all that. And my kids will be with me on the 4th of July. So we'll see what type of mayhem we get into. But I got the fan on in the back, so if you hear it, I apologize, but it's hot up in here, and the fan is a lot quieter than the AC. So, quick recap. Yesterday was day one. Yo, what's going on, Bar Locker? How you, man? Hope you're having a great day, or great night. Actually, I hope you had a great day. To recap real quick, last night I got on. I was inspired over the weekend from going on here, trying to get ideas from all these different live streamers and creators. I was trying to get ideas on and trying to get inspired, because every now and then I have my highs and lows, you know, when I feel like no one's paying attention, or things aren't going the way that I want them to go. I start getting very discouraged. So I try to go online and find other creators, live streamers, content creators that are in a similar situation. And I try to find out or get inspired by what they did to get out of their funk and to keep moving forward. And so yesterday I shared how I came up with the idea. It's not that I came up with the idea. I got inspired to basically follow what a bunch of other streamers are doing this month, and they're doing like marathons where they're streaming. Now, again, I mentioned this also yesterday, that I'm not going to be doing anything to the extent that these other streamers will be doing, where they're streaming continuously for hours and hours and days on end, and having these extravagant events happening during it and all these guests and everything like that. It would be nice, though. That would be nice. But anyway, I'm just saying, I decided, you know what? Let me challenge myself. Not for clout, not for views, not for likes, not for nothing else, but just for the fact to see if I can stay consistent, to see if I can actually do it. You know, I kept saying, oh, that's mad cool that all these people are getting together and they're doing something and they're streaming and they're, you know, why can't I do it? And then I kept asking myself, well, why can't I do it? So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do it. And so I just got on. With the help of ChatGPT, I organized the schedule. I organized a whole bunch of things to talk about and share with you guys. I have a lot of ideas of ways that I want to go about this. And the main goal literally is just to challenge myself. I always used to come up with excuses in the past why I can't stream and have all these issues. But I figured if I just do it on a continuous basis every day, whether I have a guest, don't have a guest, have something to talk about, don't. I don't want to make an excuse. I just want to get on here. I want to do it, and I want to make it second nature. So it's like breathing. And no matter where I am, what equipment I'm using, I can jump on, stream, and I'm good to go. And that's basically what last night's stream was about, was talking about what inspired me to do that. And also a little bit of the doubt that I was having before that, and how I almost gave up on clocking out, how I almost walked away from it and the idea. And it wasn't out of a choice, but it was just out of really believing that it was something that wasn't wanted or needed or cared about. And it took some time for me to really self-evaluate and think about things. And I realized that I was just coming up with excuses to just give up and not just try harder. You know, we talked yesterday about how is it that we were really giving up, or that we were just tired because, you know, giving up on an idea because it's not going to work, or you see that it's something that isn't for you or isn't right now, or it isn't the time, or you should wait, or whatever it is. There's those reasons or excuses, but at the same time, I know that there are certain people that just get tired because they realize of how much effort, time, and energy it actually takes to get into that field, that profession, or whatever it is that they're trying to do compared to what they see. There's a lot of people online that do a lot of similar things that you like and you're interested in, and they make it seem easy, and it's there's really a lot of work that goes behind it. And when you realize that you're trying to do this and you're doing this by yourself, and you don't have a team, and you don't have all these, you know, things to really help edit or put things out there, and you're trying to multitask, and you have a regular job, and you have a family, and you realize how much time and effort it really takes. So then you start really questioning yourself, and then it just comes down to the fact that, are you just really tired about it, or are you really just realizing that it's not something that's attainable? And we talked about that yesterday, and I realized that a lot of us get stuck in that situation where we feel like you ever felt like you're doing everything right, but still you're not getting the recognition that you expected or you thought you would get. You know, it's like one of those situations, and that's what would put me in the mindset of wanting to give up and walk away from clocking out, from really trying and just feeling like I was just getting attention, but at the end of the day, I wasn't getting the results that I really wanted. It was nice for people to say, "Oh, you did a good video," or for people to do, you know, meetups and everything like that whenever we went to events and stuff, but I still didn't feel like I was making clocking out what I envisioned it in my head. And that's what was bothering me. And I kept also noticing that the reason it wasn't getting to that point is because I kept coming up with excuses. I kept building up walls. We talked about that also, having walls and barriers stopping us from getting where we are trying to be or trying to accomplish our goals and dreams. And with all of that, it just really made me go back to why I started all this. And instead of giving up, I realized that I had more reasons to keep going that were inspiring me, inspiring other people, than I did to just give up. So here we are. You know, I got inspired to do this 30-day challenge to myself, again, not for no other reason, but just me getting back on here, dealing with all the updates and all the different little settings and features and things like that, trying to also stream right now on Kick. We are live on YouTube. We're live on Twitch. We're live on Kick. I'm really feeling Kick right now. I'm not going to lie. I'm trying to see what I can do to really make that my main focus. I'm really interested in that app and that site. I see that there's a lot of potential there. It's still something that is growing. It's building. And I feel like all the other apps or sites are also great for streaming and content sharing, but I just think they're a little bit oversaturated. I feel like a lot of people are still questioning what Kick is or if they should go over there. And I see that there's a lot of space for growth. So I think it's the best time to get in there while they're building, while they're growing, while they're still evolving and turning into something amazing. I think it's the best time to jump in, get to learn all the features, get to, you know, try to connect and network with other creators on there. There's a lot of advantages to it. You know, it's no different than like when Instagram first started or Facebook first started or YouTube. Like now that you understand more of what social media is and how people utilize it and also absorb content, you can take advantage when all these new sites come up and you see all the features they have of how you can basically leverage it to help you move forward with whatever it is that you're trying to do. But what I wanted to ask you guys, and I've also been asking myself, is what do you do in those situations where you feel like you're doing everything right, but you're still not getting the recognition for your work, your effort, your time? You know, I always feel like I do a lot of dope edits and everything like that. I kind of calmed it down. I used to always put all these extra. Let me put up the gain a little bit. I'm just trying not to get the fan in the back. Hold on. You know what? Let me turn that off. We back. We back. Shout out to everyone who's tuning in the chat. But I didn't where was I? I wasn't even know what I'm talking about. I started feeling like I wasn't getting recognition for what I was doing, right? I felt like I kept trying to do everything that was being asked of me from, the I don't even know what you would say, but every time that you're trying to do something, you know that you always have like these invisible groups of people with their eyes on you, and you're always thinking about what they are saying or what they want or what they need and what they expect. And so I kept believing that I was doing everything I was supposed to be doing. I was live streaming, I was posting stuff, I was networking, I was making clips, I was editing them, I was trying to make them funny and entertaining and all this stuff like that. I was doing open box videos, I was doing giveaways and raffles and all this stuff. But the more and more that I kept doing stuff, I started realizing it really wasn't going the way that I wanted to. I felt like it was trying too hard to be something that it wasn't, and it was going a route that I really wasn't intending to go to. But I was more in the sense of just trying to go with the flow of things, trying out stuff, and if it worked, just going in that direction. And the more and more that I kept doing that, I felt like I was creating in silence, right? I felt like I was posting, I was streaming, and I was building all these different things, and I had all these different ideas I was putting out there, and it still felt like I was not seen. Even though I had a good amount of people telling me that I was doing good work and that they wanted to be guest speakers and they wanted to collaborate and they wanted to do all these things, I still kept feeling like deep down in my gut, like I wasn't being noticed by the people I thought I would be noticed by. Like I wasn't attracting the people I expected to attract. I wasn't having the community show up, not the communities I was a part of. Like I didn't have a community just come up out of nowhere. I expected just to have one just because, and that wasn't happening. Or the people that were coming around, I felt like the more and more time went on, I noticed that I was surrounded by good people, but I felt like, where is the line where there's people just being nice because they see that you're trying and they want to just motivate you and keep pushing you to go forward? And where is the line where there's people just literally saying whatever because they feel like that's what's expected? Like, yeah, you did a good job. Like, your kid comes up to you and draws a picture and it'll be a stick figured picture or something like that. And we're like, it's you. And you like, great job. Oh my God, I love it. It's beautiful. I kept feeling like a lot of those instances were happening with the things that I was doing and putting out there. And people were treating it like that. And they weren't really seeing what I was doing. They were just, he has a video, but they wouldn't watch it. They wouldn't listen. They wouldn't read the caption, the post, or nothing like that. And I'm like, what am I doing? Like, I'm doing everything. I'm using the hashtags and the filters and the little pop-ups and the sounds. And I didn't know what I was missing, because with all that, I still kept feeling like I was not being seen. And on top of that, it felt like, I guess I wasn't getting the validation I was expecting. Like I mentioned in yesterday's live stream, I tried thinking like this whole thing of wanting to do a 30-day live stream. I'm really trying to do 30 days. I don't know if it's going to be 30 days because, in all honesty, I'm trying to treat this respectfully as a job and dedicate Monday through Friday to just being productive, working my regular 9 to 5 job, which isn't really the 9 to 5 hours. And then also after work, doing some streaming, right after streaming, doing some editing, the next day, in between work, whenever I can, putting out content, doing my regular job, doing the same thing. And then I'm trying my best to really, work-life balance, have my weekends dedicated strictly to my kids, strictly to my kids, my family, my friends, my loved ones, so I don't lose my shit or I don't burn out. But if I don't have anything to do, I'm gonna stream. If I get too comfortable and I see I can wake up early in the morning and I can squeeze something in there that's gonna be worth it or whatever. Yes, if I have a guest speaker that I could get, I'm definitely gonna get in here and work it into the schedule of the content that I already have listed that I want to do. Like I really made it that easy for myself to not have an excuse not to stream. I took advantage of all the chat GPTs and the Geminis and all that. I have no one to talk to, so I have to talk to someone. You know what I mean? I know I have people that are willing to sit there and all, but I always feel like we're bothering people. So I always tell myself, like, I don't have anyone that I can talk to. I got to figure this out on myself. what's the problem, you know? And I've gotten to the point where I got tired of just talking to myself in my head so much that I've been writing it down. I make a list, I write what I'm trying to do, what the goal is, what I feel I need is necessary to obtain that goal, to make it possible, what out of that list I don't have, how I could get it. If I can't get it in any way, what's an alternative? Like, I really try to break it down. And now, like, I use Chat GPT, I use Gemini, I use all these freaking things that I can, because I don't have a community. I don't have people to give me feedback that I feel like are going to be honest. Because after doing it for so long and putting so much stuff out there, I got it in my head that people were just being nice, not honest, or you know, they were just being really nice to not hurt my feelings and not discourage me. But at the same time, I felt like that discouraged me anyway, because I really wasn't getting any real feedback. I kept putting out stuff, and if it was so good, why wasn't it moving the way that I wanted it to? Why wasn't I getting the interact? Why is it getting less and less? Like, my pictures getting less, whatever. Maybe it's because of the black. Um, why is it that I wasn't? Why wasn't it going the same way it was for other people? If I was doing the same thing or in the same field or in the same, you get what I'm saying? Like, I was curious to that. Like, and it wasn't, oh my God, I can't believe like they're doing it, I can't. It was bothering me because, again, I felt like I was doing what was expected of me, and I was doing everything by the rules, and still it wasn't going the way it was for. Why is it disappearing on me? What is going on? I feel like with the every time the lights change, my image gets like shrunker or something like that. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, um, so yeah, you know, I was looking for validation. I felt like no one really looked at me as a podcaster or a live streamer or YouTuber or vlogger, or you get what I'm saying. And the more and more I looked at it, I was like, you know, I keep trying. I'm trying to get in those circles. I'm trying to stay as active, as consistent, as productive as I can be. And still, I felt like I just wasn't getting the recognition and the validation from the people that I really held in high regard, that I looked at, that I would just be like, yo, like, you say I'm good, but what do you like? Did you listen to something? Did you not? You know, it was little things like that that it was just getting to me. And it was more about the fact that, is it that people aren't doing it or anything because I'm that bad, or my idea sucks, or like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I wanted to know what it was. Um, Recognition comes later. Building is not a glamorous process. No, it isn't, brother. It's also a silent process. Nobody can see your goals or vision, and they'll only be able to see down the road. Yes, I truly believe that, man. And I understand. I feel like that's something that comes with just experience. And you're 100% right. And again, like, I'm just talking out of like what I've experienced already and what I feel I've learned from. And that's why I'm trying to share it. You know, I feel like the more I do these live streams, I could treat them just as documentary, you know, things for me, as well as an excuse to just jump on here and get more used to all this stuff like that, interact with you, interact with other people. I would like to collaborate with you also, BioLocker. I know we've talked about that once or twice before in the past. I have ideas for your items. I still have your items that I got. I'm planning to get more also. That has to do with this month as well. Anybody else, whether you're listening or you're jumping into the live stream, POAPs will be active this month. POAPs will be active this month. We will be doing one POAP each week. Okay. So at the end of this week, we're going to be having a POAP. So make sure that you are following us on social media, on any or all social media, on any and all live streaming platforms, YouTube, Twitch, Kick. Follow us on X, follow us on Instagram. I really don't like Facebook. I kind of get annoyed with that, but I think we have a page on there too, if I'm not mistaken, that's connected with the Instagram. But anyway, just there's no excuse. Just follow us on any of the social media platforms. That way you can stay informed whenever we have instructions or any information related to the POAPs. They're not going to be very easy accessible. They're going to be easy to what is it called? To claim, but it's not going to be something where if you just jump in, you're just going to be able to, there's going to be a process that's going to show those who are really paying attention and those who are really like showing up and are interested in this. I want to make sure that you guys are getting rewarded. You know, I am going to make it fun. We are going to make it entertaining. But yeah, just so you guys know, POAPs are active. Make sure your wallets are set. If you do not have a crypto wallet, it's all good. We can also send you wallets and you guys can collect your, I mean, we can also send you POAPs through your email, and you guys can use your email as an alternative to not having a digital wallet. So that's a good thing about it. But check out our website, clockingout.net. You'll see the information on there if you're interested. Also, be sure to do your own research. Don't just blindly jump into something if you're not comfortable or you're really not that well informed. And so what are we gonna go on? I'm trying to keep track of what I'm saying with this transcript thing. So basically, the small wins that reminded me it's working were the things that were really keeping me going. Reminding me of the people that I got to meet and that I got to have conversations with, that I got to build friendships with, that I got to learn from, that I got to learn about. Like all those things are really dope. I mentioned in yesterday's podcast also in live stream that the best thing that I've ever experienced so far has been VCon. And it was because I was surrounded by so many amazing people. I've never in my life thought that I would be in that type of environment, surrounded by that many like-minded people that just cared, that just wanted to show love and support and be there and listen and share. And it was just crazy. It was overwhelming. It was an amazing experience. I definitely needed that in my life at some point, and I'm happy that I got it. Disappointed I didn't go to the third. It would have been nice. Hoping there's another one in the future. But then again, the VeeFriends community is so amazing that they just randomly do meetups and stuff like that. So I wouldn't be surprised. I know like Ben Kine does his meetup over there down at Texas. I know a lot of people always meet up in New York and other places whenever there's anything like Comic-Con or like the trade card shows and all that stuff like that. So it's dope. It's dope. The community's literally just like become like a family. And they always stay in touch. They always, Bar Locker's one of them. He texts me. We text each other back and forth and DM each other and stuff like that. So many other people also as well. And but basically those small wins, things like that, and building those relationships, the DMs, the reposts, the thank you messages that I got from guest speakers that were on here. It was just those things that really meant the world to me, that really kept me going forward, that really made me forget about everything. And the only reason I was only ever so heavy on myself and hard on myself about things not really going the way I expected wasn't because I was really so hung up on it. It was really more of the fact that I felt that I wasn't doing anything good enough. And if I couldn't get the attention and recognition that I was expecting, how was the person who was a guest speaker on the show going to feel? If it didn't meet their expectations, if it didn't meet my expectations, I knew it wasn't going to meet anyone else's expectations. And I didn't want to disappoint or embarrass anybody. That's the main thing that I got on my mind. I didn't want to keep putting myself out there every day and have people associated with me get secondhand embarrassment because they saw that what I was doing wasn't working or wasn't worth being a part of, or was something that was, it was just that thing that was constantly in my head. And I was overthinking. It was even something like this, just doing podcast streaming and whatever. I don't even know what you would call this. It's live streaming, but I know it's nothing compared to what like other people do. I'm literally just here talking to myself, basically. You know, this green screen thing is really pissing me off. I really got to fix that. And I think it's because of the green light or something. Maybe I'll turn off the light. Hold on. Let's try this out. All right, let's try it like this. Maybe this will be a lot more better. Then you got the colors in the back of me going crazy. Let's try to turn that off too. I know to some it'll be dumb because you guys can't see the lights and stuff, but it's really more just for me to set the mood for me. So I'm more like relaxing, chill, and everything. Now I feel like I'm mad pale and I'm like freaking. Oh Jesus! There we go. This one's a lot better. Anyway, so with all the small wins that I was having, the relationships that I was building with people, and that's way too bright. That's a lot better, but what's that noise? Sorry. Anyway, Good thing I can edit a lot of this stuff out. Um, you know, the why I treated every piece of content like it's reached one person who needs it. It was like a thing that literally I had in my head. Like I would literally make stuff and I would always tell myself there's that one person out there. Again, I spoke about this last night. There's that one person out there that needs this. There's that one little me, that young version of me that's still out there looking for that motivation, that content that's gonna make them say, yes, tonight's the night that I'm gonna go and do it and make it happen. Not tomorrow, today's the perfect day. Day one, not someday, but day one, today. You know what I mean? I wanted to do that. The same thing, the same feeling that you get when you listen to Gary Vee and his videos and his podcasts and stuff like that. The same feeling you get when you listen to your favorite, you know, music artist or content creator or business owner or what, you know, whatever it is. I wanted to do that. I felt like I can make content or I would be able to help shed light on that person that would do it for somebody else. You get what I'm saying? So whether it was a guest speaker, sorry, my nose is itchy. So whether it was a guest speaker or something I was doing myself, I felt like no matter what, someone out there would get value from it. And that's like my main focus on it, man. So I feel it. But then again, it's one of those things that if you don't put it out there, no one's going to see it. If you don't share what you're doing with people, no one is going to know. If I don't keep talking about the website, no one's going to know about it. If I don't keep showing the merch, no one's going to know about it. Why do I want the merch? Why do I want to sell it? No, not to make the money, to have money to put into this so I can actually start supporting other independent artists. It's really hard to just tell people to give you money for something, to give it away to something else. One, people really don't believe that you're going to do that. Two, the process of it, there's not a lot of people that are in a position to do that. So they would rather just have it where they're giving you something for something. A lot of people are kind enough to make donations and all that stuff like that. But at the end of the day, someone would always feel better if they had something physically as a transaction or as a trade, or it just goes to show that they have something of value for that, or they have a memory. They have it's just a thing that marks that occasion, that moment, you know, when it comes to a situation like this. Not always when you go to the store and everything like that, you're going to buy a shirt and it's something you're just buying a shirt because you bought a shirt. But when you're a content creator or a live streamer and you have people that come on and they support you and they follow, they subscribe, or they buy a shirt, they buy a hoodie or whatever it is, that's a different type of support. You know what I mean? It's a different type of support from you going to a store and buying from a big brand and all that stuff like that. You're literally just buying for style or whatever it is. But when you're buying something from a content creator, you know for a fact that you're trying to support whatever it is that they're doing in some way, shape, or form. And that's literally why I made the website and I started making merch. I'm not a fucking clothing designer. I don't know shit about, you can go on it. It's really basic stuff. But I felt like if it helps, one, if it gives something to the person to be like, you know what, I appreciate what you're doing. And at the same time, it helps bring attention to what we're doing. You know what I mean? I feel like there's a reason behind it. That's the reason I made the merch, and I made it very fucking affordable, which kind of hurts in a way in the cause of trying to raise money. But it's like for now, I feel like if I could just get the word out there and the attention, keeping it small and keeping it low where it's affordable to people is more important to me, because that'll just get the word out there and we can just build momentum. You know, I'm not really looking to have people come on here and start doing $100,000 donations and shit like that. Like, you know what I mean? Would it be nice? Yes. But at the same time, you have to think realistically. So I feel like the best thing I could do is by bringing attention to the brand, so that when people go and look it up, they see the guest speaker, they see the Bar Locker episode, they see the Savvy D episode, they see the I've Been Kind episode, they see the Miami Mike episode, they see the Brett episode. You get what I'm saying? So I wanted to just focus on that and just bringing more attention to it. Before, I was only focusing, if you looked at any of the social media profiles, all I did was shed light on the guest speakers. I never really showed much, besides for the intro or the outro. I never really had anything logo wise of clocking out. It was always something like this, you know, just like cool themed wise or whatever. But I tried changing things up a little bit for this season. Because a lot of people would tell me, we don't see enough of you. We should see more of you. It's your thing. You know, we like what you're doing for everybody else, but let people know who you are. Tell your story and things like that. So I figured, you know, the more I thought about it, I figured I'm going to try it out this season and we're going to give it a shot. I don't know how long we're gonna be streaming. I should have streamed a lot earlier. I'm gonna be honest with you. I streamed like a half hour late. I was having some technical issues with the mic, but I figured it out. I was gonna give up and be like, oh, I can't stream, but nope, I figured it out. It was just something with the cable. I think I need a new cable. I had to like play around with it a few times. It even happened during the beginning of this, but it just made a sound before it wasn't even working at all. But again, it was a wall that came up. And I could have made it an excuse and been like, oh, let me make a post. I'm not live stream to the one person that comes on here, Barlaco, shout out to you, and say that I can't live stream. But I'm like, you know what? No one gives a fuck. It's about me. So am I going to live stream for myself today? Am I going to show up for myself today? That's what I kept asking myself. Are you going to show up, PR? Are you going to be on here? Are you going to do what you said you was going to do? Because ain't nobody else give a fuck about your 30 days streaming or your consistency or your podcast but you. And if you don't give a fuck, no one else is going to give a fuck. So I was like, fuck it, I'm here. I hope everyone had an amazing day. I hope it was positive and productive. I hope there was no stress, no drama from your mama. But the advice I want to give the viewers, if you feel like no one is clapping for you, clap for yourself. Because literally that's gotten me through a lot. A lot of the times that I would be discouraged or upset that I wasn't getting the recognition or getting noticed for any of my efforts or any things that I felt like would be considered as an accomplishment. I literally just thought back to myself of where I was and where I am today, the journey in between, what I've been through, what I've learned, what I've experienced, how I've changed and grown. And I literally give myself that credit and I clap for myself. I literally clap for myself. I'll have a drink for myself. I'll have whatever, I'll take myself out to eat, whatever it is, just so that I feel like I did something to mark the occasion and have that memory. Like I passed that milestone, or I passed that hurdle, that wall. Because when you don't do things like that, I know I'm not the only one. You feel like your days blend in. Your days blend in, bro. You don't know how many days pass by, how many weeks pass by, what month it is. Like the end of the year is already showing up. We're here in the summer. Like I know I'm not the only one. Like when you really think about it, it's a mind fucked how fast time is moving. And then when you compare it to like your goals that you're trying to reach or things that you've accomplished, and you compare that to the time that's passed by, you start really like it's a mind fuck. It's a literal mind fuck. So what I do to try to make sure that I don't let time just go by and eat away at me in moments like that, I try to make sure in those small victories that I actually celebrate, even if it's just me, myself, and I. But I celebrate. I look for an excuse to celebrate, to create a memory so that I can do like I don't know what you would call it, just leave some mark in my memory bank. Like, all right, it's this time, this year, this date, whatever, you got past that point. Let's go to the next one. Because if not, it just blends in with everything, man. And then you start losing track of how far you've come. You know? But that's one bit of advice I give any of you viewers, any of the supporters and followers. Another one that I give is don't measure impact in likes. Measure it in alignment. Who are you aligning with? Who are you meeting who is like-minded like yourself that makes you not feel alone? What are the communities that you're joining of people that make you feel seen, make you feel heard, make you feel understood? Stop thinking about how many people liked your comment or your post or your video or your stream or your podcast, or stop thinking of it in ways like that. Stop thinking of it in listens and plays and views. Stop thinking of it like that. Think about the interactions you're actually having with people. A lot of people that do support me are from the VeeFriends community, and I know for a fact that you guys would relate to this in a way and you'll understand better. It's like Gary says, he's more important about the funeral. Yeah, I mean, he's more focused on the people that are going to show up for his funeral. You get what I'm saying? So, like, are you more focused on the now and the temporary and the likes and whatever you get for the attention and trying to go viral and all that shit like that? Or are you actually worried and caring about the relationships that you're building and connections that you're having with the people that you're interacting with? You know, I remember all the people that I talk to, but I always feel like I bother people whenever I reach out to them because I really don't have much going on in my life besides the basic stuff. And all these other people, I don't know whether it's because of social media or not. And I always take that into account. But at the same time, I always feel like a lot of people have way more interesting things going on in their life than I do. So I have nothing of value to really add to their day or their life. So it's hard to reach out to them. It's hard to be like, yo, hey, and so many people do it to me. I'll get a text randomly throughout the day. Hey, what's going on? Long time no talk. How you been? Or a DM or a post or whatever. And I suck at doing that because there's so many times that I think about it or I'll write a message and literally I'll delete it. I hesitate just because of the fact that I'm overthinking like I'm a bother to somebody. Because I felt like I felt like I really didn't hold any value to give to anyone, that I wasn't worth their time for a text or anything. You know what I'm saying? And it sucks. It sucks that I had that in my head that I was thinking that way. And that's something that I'm trying to break out of little by little. Someone texts me, I try to respond right away, wherever I'm at. And if I know I can't talk for long, I make sure like I have a thing about explaining too much. So I'll be like, listen, this is going on. So if I don't answer back quick, it's because of this, but I overthink in people's reaction to things. And I feel like if they fully don't understand the full picture of it or the full situation, they'll take it in the wrong way. And I like being liked. I don't like people not liking me. If you don't like me for something I actually did or said, or, that's different because it's really me. If you don't like me for me, okay, cool. But I don't want you to judge me based off of a wrong impression, And that's what I'm trying my best to, one, control myself over, to not overthink and let that, be too controlling of my emotions or my reactions or decisions and things like that. But at the same time, also make sure that I control it where, sometimes it's a good thing. It helps guide you in a way sometimes, but only when you don't let it really control your life and control you. Another thing that I like to say to everyone is stay visible by staying consistent, because that's what I'm trying to do. I always talk so much shit about all these other people that I was getting jealous about, basically, from always having stuff up 24/7 and always see, who I see a lot of, and I'm getting tired of it. And I see Ann on every damn site, everywhere I go, and is on Twitch, and is on TikTok, and is on X, and is on Instagram. She's on fucking Facebook. Even when I'm not using my podcast fucking accounts, I see Ann. Ann Bags is I love you, Ann. I'm being a smart ass and I'm fucking around. But Ann, you're doing an amazing job. And I've even told her so. Before she gave off the vibe of like she was nervous and she was scared to get in. And now, bro, you can't turn on your phone or open an app without seeing Ann. Ann is everywhere, bro. And I love it. Every time I see her, I was like, there's Ann. I was like, I know who that is. I get so excited because I know she's going to do amazing things, man. And she's doing amazing things. She does amazing work. And I'm so fucking jealous of Ann. I'm so jealous of Ann. Ann has so much content. Every day she has something. She's putting out, and what I love about her, she doesn't have an excuse. There's no excuse. All her content that she makes it's great content, but it's literally, and I don't mean this in a disrespectful way, it's nothing fancy. When you really look at it, it's just her phone, and the stuff around her, but she's so consistent with it that you see her everywhere. Every day, and it's not the same video. Every day I'm seeing a different fucking video every day. And I'm like, what? I'm like, how is she doing this? And then it was situations like that, or watching people such as Ann be so consistent with the content that we're creating being involved and consistent with the interactions she was having with people in communities. It was all of that that got me to be like, yo, why? And I would always think about it. Why couldn't that be me? Why can, and again, you compare it, but I'd always do it in a positive way where I'd be like, what are they doing and what am I not doing? Or what worked for them and what didn't work for me? And again, it always came down to the consistency of just being out there, being in the communities, being in the live streams, and it's like, I try, man. I try my best. And again, it was like I mentioned earlier, and we mentioned in yesterday's podcast, it was one of those things where I felt like I was getting tired because I was realizing the amount of effort and energy it was taking to keep up with those people. And I questioned it, like, I can't do it. Not to their level. I could do it, but I just can't do it to that level. My job is different than whatever they're doing for work. My schedule is way different than what they are. My environment is way different than they are, as far as being able to record whenever at any. So it was things like that, that I started taking into consideration. I was like, so why is it I don't have time in my schedule? How much time do I really need? What do I really need to record? It's really that important to have all this background stuff and a nice, cool little, it was a bunch of little things. So I found alternatives to it. I got my basic stuff, my basic equipment that I got, and it was just mostly about time management. It was mostly about time management. But once I realized that that was the problem and I took that out of the equation and I started treating this more like a job, and I just told myself the same way I show up for my job on time and I'm there every day and I don't want to call out sick even when I'm sick or I got neck and back pain because of my freaking herniated disc or whatever. Like, the same way I do it for work because I get paid and I don't really want to, I have to do it for the things that I want to do. I got to show up for myself. So, let's try it. Let's try this 30-day thing. Let's try the streaming every day, Monday through Friday. Let's try it. Let's try and show up for ourselves every day. You know what I mean? So when you're trying to stay visible, you got to be consistent. No one knows what you're doing or who you are if you don't put yourself out there. Saying that mostly for myself when I look back at this tomorrow. Even if one person hears me, whether it's tonight, tomorrow, whenever they play this episode or any of the podcast episodes, that's enough. That's really enough for me, because I used to be that one person waiting to hear someone speak up, waiting to hear someone that I felt like could understand me, that made me feel like I wasn't alone. And if I could do that for even one person out there, man, I'm happy. I am happy as fuck. So I'm gonna keep doing this. I know I feel like I have a side of me I haven't shown out there because I'm still trying to break out my show that I would like people to know about. The entertaining, goofy, conspiracy theory, informative, you know what I'm saying, talkative, creative, artistic, or not autistic, artistic. Not that there's a problem with any, but I'm just saying. I didn't mean to say it like that. But I want people to see that side of me. I want people to see the creative stuff. I want to stop the excuses that I don't know how to use these apps to make all these. Like, I see all these dope things being made with AI and these fake videos, and it's just entertaining and funny. And I'm like, wouldn't it be dope if you could do this and this? And I see other people doing the exact same things that I'm thinking, but it just comes out looking different. They have it looking the way they envisioned it. I'm like, if they can do it, I can do it too, man. I can do it too. There's I want to make sure I get her name right. I've been retweeting her stuff. I DM'd her a while ago. I DM'd her Courtney. I DM'd Courtney back in July 24th of 2024. I'm kind of calling you out. I'm not lying, because I've been trying to get you as a guest speaker for a while. But since last year, I tried asking her to be a guest speaker. And just this past Saturday, she answered. So I'm hoping it works out and I can get her as a guest speaker. But the reason I'm putting up Courtney, let me see if it's gonna show her. Nope, it's not. It's not gonna show. It's too hold on. Let me see. You put my face next to it. Nope. Anyway, I don't know how to say her last name, and I don't want to butcher it. But Courtney, if you know V Friends, you know who Courtney is. She's always with Adam Rips whenever they're doing live streams. She's been doing something that's been consistent where she's doing how to clip. I mean, not how to clip. She's doing this thing where she shows us how to stream every day until we stream or we go live, right? And she's been doing this thing where every day she goes over one bit, whether it's the cameras or whether it's the settings or the applications or whatever it is. She goes through it step by step so you don't have an excuse and you're ready to stream. So it was even things like that, and seeing her being consistent every day, putting out one video every day or every, like, you know what I'm saying, always streaming consistently, whether it's her own personal stuff or whether she's doing it for the V Friends brand. But I was like, yo, like seeing things like that and the consistency is very inspiring. But then again, it's also like a challenge. Like it's like a silent challenge to other creators. Like, if I'm doing it, what the fuck are you waiting for? And that's the kind of challenge I get with Courtney. I see for the longest time, I see she's been putting out stuff and she always puts it out in a way like, I'm doing it, so can you. And she does it in a very nice way. But sometimes in my mind, like, yo, are you challenging me? Are you And I'm not gonna lie, like, I had the idea of the 30-day stream thing and it was still floating in my head. And then every time, like, I'd be thinking about it, her videos would come up and be like, yes, here's another video of me showing you how to go live every day until you go live. And I'm like, motherfucker. I'm like, she's like, how does she know? But anyway, from things like that and people like Ann, I gotta step my game up. I say Ann, and all her reels, shorts, and live streams, and all these, like, they just flash before my eyes. It's like, it's like I gotta step my game up. I gotta step my game up. But yeah, man, I guess that's really, like, that's the legacy that I'm really trying to keep, that I'm trying to focus on leaving behind from all this. Is that if I could just help inspire just one person that needs it, that feels hopeless or lost or alone, like, and I say that because that's the way I felt when I was coming up and I was younger and I was, doing music and everything like that. And I felt like things could have been different if I just had the right people around me that were focused or could see even partially the vision that I had of what I was trying to do or where I was trying to go. I felt like it would have made a difference. It would have made a difference. Things would have been a lot different. And I would like to do that. I would like to be that light of hope for somebody, It's now, and I get a lot of that from a lot of people. And that's why I try my best to appreciate it and let people know that I appreciate it and that I care. And I try my best to show up for them also whenever I can and I have the time. I do. I know I suck at it, but I try my best. It's just, I'm really all over the place. But even with this, I'm trying to discipline myself with being consistent. And in all honesty, it's all of that makes me feel like, even if it's just a small amount of people, I'm being seen, I'm being heard, I'm being understood. And it's like, I just want to be that for someone else. I always feel like I'm the one that's being helped in some type of way. And I would like to be the person for once to help someone else. In all honesty. With that being said, we're going to end the podcast here. It's 10 minutes. I was trying to make it an hour, but we're 10 minutes shy of an hour. But I literally got to go. I should have been done by 8. It's 8:14. Again, trying to keep with the schedule stuff. If I don't, it kind of ruins a lot of things. But anyway, thank you guys for coming in, showing love, tuning in. I truly appreciate it. If you are interested in the POAPs, please go to POAP, the POAP website. It's like, just go literally POAP. Put it in Google, go to the first one. You'll see, it'll show you the instructions on how to set up a wallet if you would like to go that route. If not, you could do it with your email. It'll show you that the basic stuff is there. If you want to get the information on how or why we're doing POAPs and how you can claim them, go to our website, clockingout.net. Check it out. Right on the homepage, you'll see it. It'll explain everything what Clocking Out is about, what our mission is, what our goal is, and why we're utilizing POAPs in this whole entire thing. So whether you make a purchase this month or this week for this specific POAP. If you make a purchase this week on the clockingout.net website, you will get a POAP. If you tune in to our live stream later this week and you interact in the chat, you will get a POAP. If you interact in any of the social media platforms of Clocking Out with any of the content that is related to any of the live streams of that week, you can get a POAP. I'm saying all this the way that I'm saying this now because literally, unless you are here in the chat, unless you are watching this pre-recorded or you're listening to this or whatever it is, you're not going to know how to claim. So it's strictly just for you guys. Someone who just hears POAP and just jumps in and like, I want to claim or whatever, there's going to be a specific way to go about it. There's going to be questions you're going to be asked. If you were really paying attention, if you were really active, if you were really, there's going to be questions that are going to be asked pertaining to your participation in it. You know what I'm saying? So it's things like that that I'm just, you know, playing around with to make sure this time around the right people get POAPs. I did something before called was it the 12 nights? 12 nights of POAP. Was it 12 nights? I think it was 12 nights. I forget. I even forget. It was 12 nights of POAP. I did, in all honesty, I think I did like about 40 to 50 different POAPs in the first season and the second season also, I believe. Those will also be utilized if you are an OG POAP holder of Clocking Out podcast and you still have them in your wallet. All of those will be honored and you can use all of those still combined with your POAPs of this season as like a bonus. You know, you combine them together and you'll get an advantage compared to others who are not OG POAP holders. You'll get like an extra raffle submission or an extra giveaway submission, or it just a higher percentage of a discount on certain exclusive merch drops, things like that. But they're going to be perks for the OG holders of the OG POAP holders of Clocking Out are going to have advantages over the other people who don't hold any. That's just the way it's been. I've always planned it that way. I truly appreciate anyone who is an OG POAP holder at all from any of the previous seasons. And if you're still tuning in now, I do appreciate the love and support and the consistency of coming and showing up for me. So I'm doing my best to make sure I show up for myself and I show up for you guys as well. I love you. Have an amazing night. This is day two of my kind of sort of 30-day long podcast live stream thing. I love y'all. Stay safe. Have a great night. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Peace.